Citizen Television.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Planetary Persuader. This is for Friday, the 30th of April, 2021. Okay, so what do we got? We're looking in the sky today. Well, it looks like we've got a moon in the constellation of Sagittarius. Whoa! At least that's how it's starting. And at 9:30 Pacific Daylight Time in the AM, the moon's going to go into Capricorn. Well, it's actually a little bit before that. 9:16 AM to be specific. So, the lunar mansion that the moon is in right now is known as Mula. Now, Mula literally means root. Mula's ruling deity is Neritri. She's known as the goddess of destruction. She's got a very similar vibe to Kali, or she could be considered another guise of Kali. And she's located in the center of the Milky Way galaxy. And they say this is where all the secrets of the universe are held and kept. Now, the ruling planet for Mula Nakshatra is Ketu. This is the last of the Ketu Nakshatras. First one's Ashvini, second one is Magha, now we're in Mula. You see, Ketu as a planet deity has no head. We know the story about Vasuki the demon that wanted to be like a planet. So he dressed up like a planet, snuck up between the sun and the moon, and got, when they were getting the nectar of immortality, all the grahas, all the planets were getting the nectar of immortality. But notice this, Vasuki sneaking up between the sun and the moon. What does this remind you of? What happens when the north and south node align with the moon or the sun? We have an eclipse, okay? So this is symbolic of eclipses, which are really tripped out times that lead to more tripped out times. We're going to have an eclipse in June. And, we should be on it, ready for it, so to speak. But anyhow, since the bottom half of the moon, of the nodes of the moon, rather, is the south node, it's called Ketu. And Ketu has no head. It's the body that has no head. So what do you do when you can't think about something, but you have a gut feeling? You rely on that gut feeling. It's intuition. And so Ketu relies largely on intuition. Ashvini are the celestial healers. Magha is the royalty. And it's sort of like, in Magha, it's sort of like, I'm going to go with what my parents are. In Ashvini, it's like, well, shoot, people need healing. I don't necessarily know what to do, but I got this gut feeling this is going to work. And in Mula, it's like, hey, not only did I learn some stuff from my parents and learn stuff from my gut feeling, but I also know something about roots and healing herbs, things like turmeric, burdock, garlic, ginger, echinacea. All of these roots contain many healing properties. Maca is another one that you can add to that list. Ashwagandha. There's so many things that have healing ginseng, healing qualities of plants, specifically roots. Wild yam, another one. And so Mula, it comes on sometimes with a calamity. She'll get rid of all this stuff you don't need. And a lot of times I've heard from people who are like wealth conscious advocates or whatever, best thing to do is get rid of all your junk and make space. And that is one of the best ways. Also, people who are generous and just give things away. Like K2 will encourage you to give things away. It's like, you don't need it, don't mess with it. Last week the sun was going through Ashvini, but now the sun's in Bharani and that part of Aries in the sidereal zodiac. Of course, it's Taurus and the tropical zodiac. But if you're, if you're an astronomer and you're really into constellations, the Vedic makes more sense to you. Okay, so with that said, we are going to go now sign by sign, beginning with you, Aries, and get into this whole horoscope thing. So, greetings, Aries, and welcome to your horoscope. So Mars is in Cancer right now. So Mars is debilitated. So you're really kind of concerned about your feelings, and you're concerned more about what's going on in your home environment. And so the home environment, is not as easy place for an Aries to have control over things, from what I've observed anyhow, especially when Mars is in Cancer. And so, moodiness. What brings you happiness? What's your relationship with your parents? Your heritage, where you came from. These things are going to be a little bit more in focus. Also, since Taurus rules your second house, Sun's now in Taurus. A lot of things regarding finances are really big for you right now. So you're really getting deeper into the world of finances. Also, values that you got from your family, how you were treated as a kid, especially like between like 7 and 14, when you're developing to the world. That kind of comes out in the second house, and what your self-image is and how that's going to affect you. So all of this is worth considering this week. All right. So with that said, we are turning it over to Taurus. So greetings, Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope. Mars in Cancer works really well for you. Mars in Cancer is in the third house. Third house is a karaka for Mars. So Mars isn't functioning as negatively in its debilitated sign for Tauruses because it's in a better house than most signs get right now, as far as its transit, And on these horoscopes, we're using whole house system, and I have some appreciation of the delineation of tropical astrology and having, big old houses if you're born really far north or really far south of the equator. But to be honest with you, really, the whole house system gets the job done fairly efficiently from what I've been able to notice and gather. I get to the point where it seems that house acknowledgement in one sign is a lot easier to kind of grasp and integrate the information of the planets and their signs. Okay. So other great things are happening. Well, later on this month, Jupiter is going to go into Pisces. Venus right now, Venus is in Taurus and will be for the whole week, so that's positive. That is a natural place for Taurus to be in the first house, so you're going to be getting a lot of love. My Taurus producer is going to get a hot tub, or a lap pool, or both. I don't know.
Hot tub too.
Or a subpoena. It's one of the three. But it's it's all going to work out. It doesn't matter. Okay. So, greetings, Gemini, and welcome to your horoscope. This is a time where I would say for Geminis, the best thing you could possibly do is lay low. Don't put out a lot of ambition or something. Now, here's something else to think about too. You've got Mars in your second house, and then you've got Sun, Uranus, Venus, Mercury, all in the 12th house. And in a lot of ways, it's sort of like your energy, with the exception of that North Node being there, which is sometimes sort of deceptive. It's not always the greatest planet of your life kind of thing. Especially with Uranus on one side and having Mars there, and they're hemming in your personality basically. They're hemming in your sun sign, your moon, or your rising, depending on which kind of way you're doing this. So, this is something that you've got to consider. And so, what I would do is as far as like today goes, the weekend looks intense. You know, it involves other people's property. If you're going to like an astrological workshop, yeah, man, that's great. You know, moon will be in your 8th house. That's wonderful. You know, you're watching this. Good job. You did the right thing. Okay. Career-wise, things are kind of muddled, you know, because of Neptune. Neptune has this way of dissolving things. Neptune kind of presents this either oasis or this mirage, you know. And Neptune, when you're on like your spiritual path, you do good by Neptune, you know. And Neptune also, people have compassion for you, help you out. It's not all awash, as they say, with Neptune and Pisces. But I mean, the deal that I'm getting right now is a good time to be out in the wilderness, good time to explore the pleasures of the bed, good time to keep a dream journal, and good time to keep your mouth shut when you're with people that you're not really thinking you could trust. Okay. Well, greetings, Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope. I mean, Taurus time generally, pretty good time for Cancer. It's an 11th house transit. 11th house, people with experience that can benefit us often show up for us. 11th house can even have some wealth, just like the 2nd house. 11th house is sort of like, it's like the bonus. You did well at work and here you are. You know, it could be a big party. It's like a group vacation, you know, when you're camping at Burning Man with your tribe. You know, that's sort of an 11th house kind of feeling. Beyond that, I would say it's like the things that really make you an individual as a Cancer are much more in front of your face right now. And things that you're sort of timid about for the last couple months or so, you're ready to move. I mean, you're ready to move on. You're ready to open things up and do exactly what you got to do. Because otherwise things are going to get, you know, a little bit rough. And you want to bring in the positive. I mean, Mars's nature is to get rid of evil, but Mars's nature is also to work in the garden, pull out weeds. I mean, that is the better getting rid of evil than kicking someone's butt, or, you know, having to build a moat around your house full of piranhas. I mean, I get it though. It does sound fun until a local neighbor's cat falls in and they blame you, and it gets ugly at that point. But you don't want that. They were looking for fish. They can't help themselves. All right. Well, greetings, Leo, and welcome to your horoscope. So Taurus time for Leo is about the career. It's about the karma you have in the public. Now, how do you show your talents and skills? Where do you feel like you excel? Where do you feel like your gifts can be seen and be utilized? And, you know, a lot of times it takes a while to develop the gifts that we want to use. If I took some of your drawings when you were 4 years old and then took some when you were 13, it's like the ones in 13 look a lot better in most cases. I mean, not everyone, but, you know. And so we're always improving on things. We're always learning. It's so important not to get too down on yourself, because even when there's a disappointment, it's an opportunity to work on something better. I really like how Magic Johnson said, you know, for every perfect shot you've seen me make, every three-point shot you've seen me make, there's about 100 shots that I missed. So don't, you know, every single time, you know, thousands even, you know, you're always working on your craft, you're always working on your skill. And that's true for you, Leo. And there's a lot of career pressure right now. I mean, even with Jupiter and Saturn in the 7th house, that can add to the career pressure. You want your relationships to be good. So it's being consistent, but also being happy and finding something to feel blessed about. Having a sense of generosity, but also some restriction in your relationships. Bada bing, bada bing. And we're going over to Virgo territory. My little Virgo. Well, greetings, Virgo. So Virgo, you know, the ninth house where Taurus is in your chart is the house of your father. It's the house of gurus. It's the house of teachers. And it's interesting, I had a friend that had passed away about, oh gosh, it's almost 10.5 years now. But we were type bros, you know, he's a good buddy, and if he had been alive, he'd be 60 now. But he had that guru energy, you know, he had that teacher energy, and he had a little slogan. His slogan was, "It's all love." If any of you lived in the Portland area, you might have been familiar with the poet, the astrologer, sometimes industrial art, industrial hip-hop artist Stephen Spirit, you know, and at times I can feel his presence, his guidance. I can feel that loving nature, that encouragement, you know, as a fellow astrologer, fellow artist, songwriter, to move on and move forward. And it's really great. It's a comfort to have people like this. We're never really gone, folks, even after we pass away. And Virgo, you're in teacher mode right now, full-on teacher mode. Even with the moon and Pluto in your 5th house this weekend, you've got some things to share, and they're important. And you're working on some hard stuff. You know, I was like thinking to myself, God, I've been so good. You know, Saturn and Jupiter haven't screwed me over with a illness yet. But you know, and then I, you know, you know, there it was. And I had to feel weak for I had to feel weak for a week. It's good to be better. Greetings, Libra. Welcome to your horoscope. What do we say about Libra this week? Well, you know, Taurus is the other Venus-ruled sign, you know, but Taurus doesn't have that same motivation that you have. You know, you're a very motivated sign in the zodiac because you're cardinal. But things aren't always that stable. You get, you know, the wind always blows in different directions. So you get in this place of what I'd call indecision, you know, and indecision is, it doesn't, you know, sometimes it's good. But really, in a lot of ways, indecision is the same as saying no. Because things will pass you by. And in that case, I mean, I've seen many different types of behavior in this. There's also sometimes what I would call an insincerity, a falseness. I want everybody to like me. I want everybody to think, nice. Oh, am I really in balance and center? So what ends up happening a lot of times is Libras do things for everybody else. And then they come off as fake. Because who are you? I mean, what do you really want to do? Yeah. And there's a lot of transformation in your life. I wouldn't say Taurus time is an easy transit. It's like somebody else has got the power and you kind of have to go along with it. Maybe you're good at that. You probably are. Better than most people, I'd say. Okay. Well, greetings, Scorpio, and welcome to your horoscope. Yeah. I know. You think I'd forgotten you? I have not. We're still together. So we've got the Pluto thing over in the 3rd house in Capricorn. We got the Mars thing in Cancer in your 9th house. It's given you a chance for an adventure. You're ready for an adventure right now. Oh, Scorpio. And then there's Venus transiting your 7th house. Ooh la la. You know, and with Uranus too. So sudden love episodes, they happen very easily. And yeah, it's tempting. It's really tempting. You know, you got to keep it together though. You know, you have to stay grounded in what brings you heart happiness, you know, that inner soul happiness. That's always worth working on. Communicate your needs this weekend, you know. See your people, talk to your siblings, see your friends. Move forward with that. All right. Well, greetings, Sagittarius, and welcome to your horoscope. What does Taurus mean to Sagittarius? Well, Taurus falls in the 6th house, you know, I mean, for you. And that's a lot of work. That's working to serve others. That's uncles and aunts. That's small pets. That's government work. That's service work. That's working as a team on a project. It's the kind of work that can be hard, like 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. You're still making progress. But it's frustrating, you know. Sometimes we have to have, everything is, the nature of life is it's not all forward motion. The nature of Taurus is things can be pretty stubborn at times, you know. But they also are very relaxed and very satisfied. And like, it might be easy to fall into a little bit of illness because of the 6th house transit too. You know, sometimes our health gets challenged in, you know, and any transit, generally speaking, in the Dastana houses, as they're known in Vedic astrology, the 6th house, the 8th house, 12th house, they are not easy transits. Jupiter, well, Jupiter's in the 3rd house. You know, it's opposite of a Jupiter rulership, but it's like expanding your world in your neighborhood, expanding your world among your siblings, cousins, writing. You know, writing is one of the keys to success. Write down your goals. Daily having a writing practice of what you want to accomplish helps you accomplish more. And that is, I don't make these things up, it's a fact. Okay. All right. So, greetings Capricorn and welcome to your horoscope. Oh, yeah. So Saturn in the 2nd house. That means we're dealing with finances. That means we're dealing with family issues sometimes. It means we're dealing with things that affect our throat, our teeth. The way we taste things, our mouths. And Taurus is a really rockin' sign for Capricorn, because Capricorn, Taurus rules the 5th house. So 5th house is heart opening. It's dealing with our children. There's another one saying about the kids, you know. So Capricorns and their kids is a big theme this week. There's no doubt about it. And, you know, a lot of you have, you know, are you could be adults that never had kids. And, you know, that's a totally different game because there's less obligatory sacrifice, you know. And then there's parents, you know, unfortunately mostly fathers, but more and more mothers the case, that abandon their children. And so people grow up without a good foundation in their life because of that. But just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you can't be a parent to some kid, that you can't be a good father or a good mother to them or a figure like that. And that's the vibe I want to get. It's like, hey, you know what? Just because other people gave up doesn't mean you can't pick up. And yeah, love is blooming for you. Let's look at it that way. Okay. So here's my little Aquarius. Oh, thank you, Aquarius. Greetings, Aquarius. Welcome to your horoscope. How can we put this? Well, you're paying more attention to your inner life right now. You know, Taurus. Here we go again. No, I'm not allergic to Taurus. I'm not allergic to Aquarius. I'm allergic to boogers. But they like me. And they decided to make a home in my nostrils. Temporary, I might add. So for Aquarius, we're focused right now on our inner life more. What brings us happiness? What's really in our heart? And that's how we relate to Taurus primarily. Home, family, parents, elders, real estate, selling fixed assets. That's kind of the bigger stuff right now. You know, Saturn and Jupiter in your 1st house. And Jupiter is all about growth. It's like, wow, let's expand. You know, and Jupiter is now in sidereal Aquarius. And so in some ways it's like, it's knocking on the door of your 3rd house. So it's like time to do some writing. Time to make more friendships. Time to expand your own impact within your own neighborhood. I really think that even though we're in this place with social media and everything and cameras on phones and laptops and stuff, that we can kind of be, our images and our voices can be anywhere in the world. But there's something about the one-on-one, face-to-face, real-time with your community and your members that needs to be restored, needs to be honored, and good things are going to happen. All right. So. Let's go to Pisces now. Greetings, Pisces, and welcome to your horoscope. Okay. So, Neptune is in your first house. So you've got a real sense of a visionary life, a life that is going to be more inclusive, it's going to be more flowing, it's going to be more creative, it's going to be more full of colors and beautiful activity. Now Jupiter's in the 12th house. Well, Jupiter operates strong in the 12th house because it's like going to an ashram or seeing a wise person like a saint who's way out in a cave in the Himalayas, and you're welcome to go there, but you're going to have a butt-kicking 27-mile hike to be in the presence of this person. And you're expected to offer them some food or something else because, they're up there and they don't get a lot of things like that. Some of them are like breatharians and stuff. There's some pretty special circumstances out there in the mountains. But in this case right now, it's like Taurus is ruling your third house. So third house is your siblings, it's your friends from high school, even elementary school sometimes, or, undergrad, all those people. And if you're still in touch with them, it's likely they'll make more of a presence for you this week. Looking at, the lunar implication is this weekend looks fun if you can socialize a little bit, and people are having, the 6 foot apart distance kind of parties, that human connection, is so important. And I can't empathize. I can empathize with those who don't have any, but I can't emphasize enough how we need it. And for some people, having a shot is a confidence giver. Of course, there's variants that people are getting now, even who've had the shot. In fact, there's variances specifically to people who've had the shot. So it's like, either way, it could be a lose-lose thing. But if we stay not judging each other and in our hearts and in love, it's going to be a love-love, which is a win-win. And thinking of a win-win, I'd love for you to subscribe to this video. I'd like you to ring the bell notification. I'd like you to share it on your social media page. Tell a friend about it. You're special to me. And thank you for your kind comments. KozMcKev with the Planetary Persuader. Your cosmic forecast weekly on Citizen Television, YouTube, public access television, and all around the world.